Hello everyone, my name is Mike and welcome to our first Q&A video. Yes, I know we did one on April Fools, but that doesn't count as a Q&A. Anyway, I'm here to answer everyone's questions, so thank you all for commenting your questions. Here we go. The Holy Dragon, the Shadow Wolf 10 asks, which White Dragon Legacy episode would you say was the most fun to make? I would have to say Chapter 17, where Darien duels against Viathan. Big mistake. Because when I was editing / photoshopping Dark Rabbit, Shoryuken's Darien in the face, that was hilarious. It made me laugh so much. Team Nice Shot asks, besides her mom and brother, did Kasara have any other people that made her start dueling? I would have to say 555 Gaming and Productions asks, favorite video games? I would have to say my favorite video game is Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64, because having an all 4 Luigi battle is so hilarious. 2. What is the worst pizza topping in the world in your opinion? I never had pizza, so I don't think I have an answer for that. Gary Tinos asks, what's the process of choreographing each duel? To make sure the movement matches like the action of the duel. I've learned that from Yu-Gi-Oh! Devolutions, which is one of my inspirations for White Dragon Legacy. Jose Marte 8394 asks, if Blue Eyes and Red Eyes didn't exist, what would Kasara and Shroud have played? I would have to say Kasara would run Dark Magician. As for Shroud, I would have to say probably a Chaos deck. But then again, when coming up with the series, Blue Eyes White Dragon was the first thing that came to my head when coming up with this series. Also, what did Kasara play before getting the Blue Eyes from her mom? A bunch of mishmash cards. What's so funny about Obus Amogus? Ask. I've got 3. Is there another media property, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, etc. you love to do a project of? I used to do Pokemon projects when I was playing Pokemon Go. I would have to say, I guess I would do another Yu-Gi-Oh series that would take place in its own universe rather than an existing one. Number 2, what episode was the most fun to write, to record? To write and record, it would have to be Chapter 17, where again, Darien duels against Patty, who somehow ruined her picnic, and him fighting against Viathan. 3. What's so funny about Obus Amogus? Shut up! Zenaku1880 asks, will Darien ever learn his lesson after a lot of his losing streak? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Cool Zach94 asks, when is Chapter 22 of White Dragon Legacy? When it's ready. Omar Claire 894 asks, will Kasara tell Evelyn about the Dragon Hunters and Viathan? And if so, will they ever team up? Well, to answer that question, and there you go. That's the answer. Luke Vital 2986 asks, okay, I have a question. Why don't you a video of summoning trying to use the Sacred Beast cards? We're not there yet. Even though Viathan has the Sacred Beast cards, we're not ready to summon them yet. Dailorin Faith 8039 asks, if White Dragon Legacy became part of the Dragonverse, how would Viathan react to some of the other characters from there? The only 2 people Viathan will react to is Maldark from Sacred Journeys. I could see these 2 bumping into each other. Viathan goes,
who are you?
And Maldark would be like, I'm after the Sacred Beast.
Really? So am I.
And Maldark would say, I don't think so. I didn't come all this way to let some skeleton freak take the Sacred Beast from me. The other person I could think of is Mr. Gyro Martinez. Oh, I see we have a Wish.com Skeletor here.
I came here looking for the 3 Sacred Beasts.
Oh, well, I'm afraid I can't let you do that. Tosses him a fake Egyptian god card. It's been a blast! Welsh Giraffe asks, will there be a character who uses a Destiny Hero deck in the future? Not for White Dragon Legacy. Maybe for something else, but not for White Dragon Legacy. Craig Hansen 2206 asks, what is your favorite Kamen Rider / Super Sentai series? For Kamen Rider, it would have to be Kamen Rider Stronger. And for Super Sentai series, it would have to be either Kaizoku Sentai Go Kaiger, or the one I'm watching right now is number 1 Sentai Go Juger. Uncle Brian 8156 asks, what is the monster Kasara going to be using when she asks Eli to borrow his Red Eyes card? Also, do you know how many chapters will White Dragon Legacy be? I can't say the first one because of spoilers, and let's just say we are almost near the end game. Vincent Campos 8415 asks, when are you going to put the Pendulum Summon into White Dragon Legacy? Not for this season, but it will happen in Season 2. Jacob Brown 9341 asks, hi, I'm Victory Eyes Dragon Knight. Nice to meet you, Victory Eyes. I ask in question, I see that girl. She's have exceeds summed a number of cards too. So my question is, how does she have number 51 cards? If you're talking about number 51, Stronghold the Amazing, that's gonna be revealed later on. Sega Nintendo Guy 64 asks, out of the 3 Egyptian god cards, which one of them do you like the most? I would have to say the Winged Dragon of Ra is my favorite because, well, let's see. For one, if you revive it from the graveyard, it becomes a phoenix, and it will nuke the field. Abdal Kareem Mansour 1447 asks, how many episodes will you make from White Dragon Legacy? As many as it takes. 2 Dragon United is finished. Dragons United isn't finished. It's still being worked on, but rest assured, when it is fully completed, we will upload a teaser trailer for it. So don't worry, it's still being worked on. It's gonna take a while. 3, do you have other projects for Yu-Gi-Oh! To work on except Dragons United and White Dragon Legacy? The first project that I'm gonna do after White Dragon Legacy and Dragons United is one more live-action series. The other is a gacha project called Blazing Souls, which is going to be part of the Dragonverse. Meet Knight 8 asks, question, if you had the option to bring back a character that can't return in the series due to plot, who would you bring back? I would have to bring back Poisandra. The way I would see it, Vithan is like running out of time and patience. And he decides to bring Poisandra back to give her one more chance. Unfortunately, Jolyn, who plays Poisandra, moved away. So unfortunately, we won't be able to bring Poisandra back. Chase Hubbard asks, hey Mike, I got 2 questions for you. Bring it! Question 1, any favorite things you like to do in your free time when you're not working on projects? What I like to do in my free time, I would sometimes brainstorm future episodes of anything. And whenever it's a nice day outside, I would like to take advantage of that by taking walks. Question 2, since starting White Dragon Legacy, what's the one thing you've learned over time that has proven very helpful as the series progressed? I would have to say for that one, make sure you're playing the cards right and double checking each turn so that way you're not making any mistakes. That has proved to be helpful for future episodes. Dan Mad297 asks, is there going to be a White Dragon of Legend Season 2 right after Season 1? Yes. And 2, will you do more short horror season for Yu-Gi-Oh? I would like to. I just need to figure out the plot, what cards are going to use, and writing the script. Kai's Otaku Corner asks, have you seen those fan-made anime English dub cards someone made? Have you been think on getting sets made for your shows? For that, I'm going to have to say no, because I enjoy using the TCG and the OCG cards. James Barker 2163 asks, will Prez Kumori and Tom Elkman appear in the future episodes? I just need to figure out how. There has to be a reason for them to appear. User Phoenix125 asks, hello, I hope you're doing well. Would you rather have a Monarch deck or an Arcana Force deck? May your future be brighter than the sun. Thank you so much. I would have to go with a Monarch deck. Arcana Force, I would like to use for something else, not for White Dragon Legacy. No Michael Nibreda 4046 asks, I'm actually a duelist who uses a special deck that revolves around only level 4 or lower monsters. No extra decks, high levels, not even rituals. If I were to travel to the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! White Dragon Legacy, would that duelist Darien still be around? He looks like a perfect opponent to face. Yes, he would still be around. P.S. I hope he can handle facing minions. I know what minions is! Alan TCG9416 asks, I've got 2 questions. How annoying is it when people brag that they can beat a fictional character when they don't even top locals? Very annoying. Very, very annoying. When and how did you start playing Yu-Gi-Oh? I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh way early 2000s because I started collecting the cards from the starter deck to what we're getting now in the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG and OCG. Dushan Cookie Wolf asks, I've got a few questions. 1. What's your favorite deck? Or wait, what's your favorite Decade? Decado! I would have to say my favorite deck would have to, even though I love Blue Eyes White Dragon, I would have to say Yu-Bell was my favorite deck to use growing up with the series. 2, what is your favorite part when it comes to making any of your projects? Putting the sound effects and putting the card effects. Actually, my real favorite part is photoshopping each frame by frame of the monster footage and rotoscoping it into the scene, or into the shot, I should say. 3, when you first started White Dragon Legacy, do you expect it to blow up as much as it did in the community? I did not. To quote Jango Fett, but not the exact quote, I'm just a simple man trying to tell a good story. Kiriti Mati 9967 asks, what is Kasara's favorite monster in her deck? Blue Eyes White Dragon, but I know this isn't a monster, but Pot of Greed, because both Kasara and Aaron love Pot of Greed. And if you negate it, I pray for your survival. Ellis8628 asks, will you be incorporating cards for the new Blue Eyes deck minus the Link monster? I would like to, but who knows? Maybe she will, maybe she won't. Solomon Drager 8468 asks, in the next episode, will Kasara fight Darien for revenge for ruining her life? I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's all you're gonna get from me. Sebastian Heenan asks, okay, so after the final boss fight, then will you be doing another series with a different villain? The question is for Aaron, aka Kasara. How long have you played Yu-Gi-Oh for? If you're asking for a season 2 different villain, I'm gonna answer this for Aaron. She does not play Yu-Gi-Oh! She only knows Pot of Greed and Dark Magician Girl. Shadow Link BDS asks, what is your most favorite and least favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Card of all time? Blue Eyes White Dragon is definitely my favorite. My least favorite, you know, I don't think I have a least favorite. Halljoe 2005 asks, joke question, when will Kasara start doing solitaire combos for 20 minutes? Final chapter. I was kidding. Actual question, what is the cast member's favorite cards / decks as opposed to the decks their characters use? None of the actors that we have here play Yu-Gi-Oh! At all, except for me. So I'm gonna say, as I said before, my favorite cards is obviously Blue Eyes White Dragon. Chara the Gamer Demon asks, what was the inspiration for White Dragon Legacy? I was opening Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium packs a long time ago, and it got me thinking, you know what, I'm gonna start making a Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, but the question is, what would the main monster the protagonist use? And the first thing that came to mind was Blue Eyes White Dragon. Aaron Master 9321 asks, will Kasara and Evelyn defeat Vithan and go on a date like a couple? I hope so. Ronter Z asks, who do you cite as your inspirations for making shows and movies? I would have to say, for my inspiration, it would have to be Shotaro Ishinomori. I love watching his creations while I was in high school, and that got me inspired to make a bunch of movies. Phil Yugo Freak 1239 asks, are we gonna see a Dream episode of Kasara dueling against a Ghost of Revenge who uses a zombie world deck with especially Eli's Red Eye zombie counterpart? With that, could we also learn a lot about Eli's past? How he lost against Vithan's escapades and his crimes caused a shroud? The thing is, we already have season 1 wrapped up. Maybe for season 2 we can incorporate a zombie world deck. As for learn a lot about Eli's past, unfortunately, the actor Alex decided to not be part of the White Dragon Legacy project due to reasons we cannot say, but we wish him lots of luck. 314 Walker asks, are you a recurring character now? Also, will you use that Medulce deck? Maybe. Star Saber 37 asks, which Kamen Rider series was the first one you watched? And out of the many Kamen Riders, who is your favorite, Mike? When I was in high school at the time, and the first Kamen Rider I watched was Kamen Rider Fies. And then after that, I watched Kamen Rider Den-O, Decade, Double, O's, and then I went back to watch some of the Showa era riders. And my favorite, and I said this before, my favorite Kamen Rider would have to be Kamen Rider Stronger. Schmirko Official asks, hello there. Any inspirations of Yu-Gi-Oh! Real Life series creators, directors, producers that you got in the past? My inspiration for White Dragon Legacy would have to be Yu-Gi-Oh! Devolutions. That inspired me to create White Dragon Legacy, and it's thanks to him I wouldn't be where I am today making all these Yu-Gi-Oh! Episodes. Artboy34D91 asks, will there be a duel with the Seal of Orichalcos? No, not for White Dragon Legacy. The Brian Normal asks, are there any plans for any future characters to use Ojamas or Moki Moki? I would love to use both Ojama and Moki Moki, but I don't know if I want to incorporate that in White Dragon Legacy or any other future Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff. Dimension Duelist 4149 asks, if you could ask Konami to make any anime/manga deck real, which one would you choose? I want Konami to print Infinity Death Gunman. As for like anime/manga deck, I would have to choose Hydra Drive and Alchemy Beast. I mean, we are getting Chaos Distill in the Osiris Red Limited Pack, so here's hoping we get Alchemy Beast soon. Brian Huggins asks, I have 3 questions for you. 1, who is your favorite Dragonverse villain? Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna go with Jairo Martinez. You don't want to get that man very pissed. 2, what is your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh deck? Yubel. 3, did you ever get your Star Wars shirt back from Viathan? No, I did not. That Wish.com Skeletor freak still owes me a Star Wars shirt. KC12132 asks, who is your favorite character in White Dragon Legacy? I honestly don't have a favorite character of White Dragon Legacy. Not yet, anyways. Nova Dragon King 4877 asks, will Red Dragon Archfiend be the counter to Stardust? I had no intentions of adding Red Dragon Archfiend into White Dragon Legacy, but who knows? Maybe that will change. Dragon Card SK asks, if Kasara were in the 5Ds universe, what would her D-wheel look like? I can picture Kasara's D-wheel would be the same as either Jax or Crow's D-wheel, but with Blue Eyes White Dragon decorative on it. Crimson Ninja asks, I've got a question for you. Are you planning to bringing new people to join your White Dragon Legacy episodes even if they have autism? Because me and my friends would love to join. For Season 1, we already have the cast written out. For Season 2, we are bringing new people whether they have autism or not. However, we're only having people who are local to us be in our series. The True Dark Phoenix asks, would you guys ever consider doing non-Yu-Gi-Oh videos? Maybe stream video games or do wrestling reactions? Not that I don't enjoy your amazing content. This is just out of curiosity. For non-Yu-Gi-Oh videos, I would like to maybe stream video games. I don't know about wrestling because I've never gotten into that. I like to stream like maybe Smash Brothers games, Mario, Pokemon, maybe Crash Bandicoot games. I would like to do that for like non-Yu-Gi-Oh videos. Noah Chrysler asks, dude, this animation is incredible. Thank you so much. What got you interested in the anime and trading card games? For the anime, I was at a friend's house and we were watching an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters where I think Yugi was facing off against either Mako Tsunami or Ghost Kaiba. And that got me hooked on to the trading card game. The first product I bought was actually my father and I went to like a local pharmacy and we bought and he got me a the Dark Magician starter deck, and then we went there again and he got me the Blue Eyes White Dragon starter deck times 3 because I need 3 Blue Eyes just like our good friend Seto Kaiba. In what ways do you think they have enhanced your life? I think it helped me create like a show that I would never thought be this big. I never thought it would help me like gather like a fan base of other Yu-Gi-Oh players. If you could go back in time and tell yourself one piece of advice, what would it be? Oh, I would go travel back in time to high school because I hated. There were a little good times in high school, but not very good ones for me. I would tell myself, don't listen to what other people think or what they tell you. Only listen to yourself and what you think is good. Who cares if your opinions matter? Not everyone else's. What's the one skill or habit that if you mastered, it would have the biggest positive impact in your life? I would have to say I would have liked to do like videography the very first thing when I get into high school. Because it's thanks to that, I wouldn't be making like YouTube videos or videos in general. Favorite pizza topping? I never had pizza, so I don't have an answer for that one. Sorry. Who would win in a fight? All the current Pokemon that exist versus 2,000 chimpanzees with AK-47s. I mean, Pokemon can learn recover, so I would have to say Pokemon against the chimpanzees with AK-47. Mr. and Dr. Mario 360 asks, Dragon Hunters versus Card Hunters. Who's got the best shot of winning? Oh, man. I would have to go with the Dragon Hunters because Vyvin gives them like cards, but the problem is they don't use them right and they lost. Lon Hikari BN asks, is there any idea of how many episodes will we get in total? Or is it kind of just make them as long as you're able to kind of thing? I would have to say both. We're almost near the end game and as long as we can make them. Also curious if any of you play the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG or any of the video games regularly at all. I used to play the game, but I still collect the cards. For game-wise, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Worldwide Edition, Stairway to the Destined Duel, Duelist of the Roses, Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards. The ones for the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX games, the one for the Game Boy Advance and the DS. And as of now, I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection for the Nintendo Switch to play those good old nostalgic games that I love playing so much. Wyndon ATX asks, are we done with Darien? No, we are not done with Darien. Not at the least, not at the slightest. We're never done with Darien. Where does this series exist in the timeline compared to the rest of the Excalibur settings? This series exists after Excalibur, before Armageddon, and in the middle of Project Games. 3. What's the plot point that you really wish you could have done but you feel it's too late to include? For that, I would have to say Zark because originally Zark was going to be the true final boss of White Dragon Legacy. But the plan didn't go as well as I thought, so I had to scrap the idea. 4. Why does the Excalibur setting hate Gravekeepers? I don't know. Alex X Doa asks, question, since you have introduced XCs into White Dragon Legacy, will you also be including rank up magic as well? Possibly, I would like to. Jenny Blaze 253 asks, I've noticed you've used a lot of tokusatsu sound effects and music for your videos. As such, a couple Toku questions. 1. Favorite Power Rangers Kamen Rider Super Sentai series? Power Rangers in Space, Kamen Rider Stronger, in either Go Kaiger or Go Juger. 2. Would you consider the idea of doing a Kamen Rider fan series at some point? Maybe. I would like to do one. 3. Will Super Quantums appear as someone's deck in White Dragon Legacy at some point? No, not for White Dragon Legacy. Maybe for another project I would like to use Super Quantles. Jose Zejos asks, what is your personal favorite, at least favorite episodes made by you? My personal favorite, it would have to be Chapter 20 was fun to make. That has to be my favorite as of now. My least favorite would have to be Chapter 3. We were rushing to try to get it done, and what I've learned, you don't rush videos to make them good. It takes time to make the episodes really good. DVR01 asks, I have questions you could answer. 1. What will your second season be like with which details? No details yet. 2. Will the audition foreigners from other countries, particularly each who speak English, to join the second season, and how can let it happen? I'm gonna have to say no to that. We already have a foreigner who also speaks English that did the voice for the Duelbot in White Dragon Legacy in Chapter 15, Shmirko, and it was an honor to have him voice the Duelbot, and I enjoy his work that he's been putting a lot of work in his Yu-Gi-Oh! Projects. When Yu-Gi-Oh! Will one day be adapted into upcoming live-action adaptations, could you and Aaron audition to be in it with your own decks? I think both Aaron and I wouldn't audition a live-action adaptation. Maybe Aaron would, but I probably wouldn't. I would probably just be there to make sure that this goes right, this needs to happen. 4. When did you first start watching Yu-Gi-Oh? I first started watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in like early 2000s, because that's when Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters started. If you could expand the show across the other 49 states and their capitals, including Washington, D.C., where could you start at first and how can it happen? I mean, I'm fine having it in America, thank you very much. Maybe Japan. 6. Will Kasara use the Eyes Signers Dimension Dragons? No. She uses Blue Eyes and Stardust. 7. If you could one day give a famous wrestler, mixed martial artist, actor, actress, singer, or rapper an offer to portray an evil duelist to Kasara and the Blue Eyes, who would it be and which name, male, female, would he be named? And which deck should it be for the evil duelist? Maybe for the evil duelist, Gary Oldman, have him use vampires because he portrayed Dracula in Bram Stoker's Dracula. And another one, this isn't an evil duelist. Adina Menzel, she would either have a character run either Ice Barriers or Cosmos. As for the names, I don't know the names. I don't know what to name them. 8. Will there be a snow and night duels on your show where duels each take place during snowy weather? We are not filming in snowy weather. We tried that before. It didn't work. Nights? No, we don't film stuff at night. 10. What was the most saddest dramatic scenes you've ever seen each within the Yu-Gi-Oh shows? It's either when a Tem feels regret for playing the Orichalcos and because of that Yugi's soul is taken, or a Tem says goodbye to Yugi and his friends one final time. 11. What do you think of the Yu-Gi-Oh! The Seal of Orichalcos Revelation Duel Arena, Real Life, Evolutions, Devolution, Dimension X, Descendants Act, Card Heroes, Armageddon, Super, Excalibur, Duelist Journey, Virtual On, Crispy Synchron, and Life Points Don't Matter each? Oh boy! I loved all of them except for Evolutions, Virtual On, Descendants X, Duelist Journey, and Life Points Don't Matter. And here's the reason. I've never seen Evolutions. I've never seen Duelist Journey. Life Points Don't Matter each. I don't think of that as a series. Descendants X is basically ripping off White Dragon Legacy, which is a shame, and it's horrible that they are just basically ripping off my show. As for Virtual On, that includes Dawn of the Multiverse and Multidimensional War, and all their other contents that they've been doing. All I can say is this. My eyes! My eyes! 12. Will there be crossovers between your show and other live-action Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows one day in future? Maybe. 13. Will there be scenes where Kasara's mother Betty reunites with her daughter and forever live on as part of Kasara the spirit who could guide and possess Kasara to victory? Her mother is dead. I'm sorry, but there's no way. I had no intention of bringing Betty back. We only saw Betty through like flashbacks. That's as good as you're gonna get. So I'm sorry, but that's how it is. 14. Is it possible to add footage from Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Game Chronicles to match with the monsters, including the Sky Strikers? No. James Wright 7284 asks, the most challenging scene to write and film as far in White Dragon Legacy. For me, I guess the dueling part's a little bit challenging because you have to make sure all the cards play correctly and there are no misplays or mishaps. 1992 John Big asks, I want to know when you're coming out with a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy series, when it's ready. Spooky Electronics Yu-Gi-Oh! asks, how annoying is it when people ask for new chapters? Very annoying. 2. Favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game. Either Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses or Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards. 3. Favorite Henshin jingle from Kamen Rider.
Yo, yo, yo! Ah!
4. With the benefit of hindsight, what are some plot lines in White Dragon Legacy that you would do differently? I would have loved to have Kasara gain the rest of her mother's cards. That plot line I would like to do differently, but we were writing the duels for Solaris and Solaris' introduction. Vice versa, we were on a bit of a crunch because Alex had to work at a different state, so we didn't have much time to plan it all out. So I would love to do that differently. 5. What's your top 3 and bottom 3 chapters of White Dragon Legacy? My top 3 would have to be Chapter 4, because we got Perez Kamori. Chapter 19, where Kasara faces off against Poisandra. And I would also have to say Chapter 20, because it was hilarious to film like Darien versus Mike, my character, when Darien kept getting frustrated with like, for 5 turns, can he not do the same move for 5 turns? Bottom 3, 2 and 3. I did those 2 chapters in a rush and I hated how the both of them came out. If I would like to redo them in future, I would, but 2 is impossible. We will have to refilm Alex's stuff, but he's no longer part of the project anymore, so that won't happen. But chapter 3, I would like to redo. And for the 3rd bottom chapter, I would have to say chapter 11 because of that freaking electromagnetic turtle. Had I known that is only once per duel, I would have changed that before filming it. Despian Grim Paldia asks, I've got simple questions. 1. What's your favorite archetype? I love the Yubel archetype. I'm glad that got support back in like Phantom Nightmare. 2. What's your favorite season of Yu-Gi-Oh? I would have to say the Battle City arc in Duel Monsters, because that was the introduction of the 3 Egyptian god cards. 3. What's your favorite ability type in Yu-Gi-Oh? Flip, Gemini, Spirit, Union, or Tune? I would have to go with Spirit. When I got some of the Spirit cards in Legacy of Darkness, I didn't know what Spirit was. It looked interesting. From what I knew back then, it's like, at the end of the turn, they have to return to your hand. And when I saw it in the anime, I'm like, okay, I did not know they were going to incorporate spirit monsters. 4. How many comments are going to make outrageous demands after I put this comment in? A lot. Silver6364 asks, are your dual disc modified to keep the cards in better? If they are, how did you modify them? I just got the dual disc and my cards fall out of the monster zones at the slightest movement backwards. I think you might have either the GX or the 5D's dual disc, because if your cards doesn't have a sleeve in, they're gonna slip out of the monster zones very easily. Our dual discs are not modified. Only the original dual disc and I believe the 25th anniversary ones fit, the cards in the monster zone fit better. Matthew SP117 asks, just a question, will we see the Wicked/Evil Gods in White Dragon Legacy along with a Seto Kaiba cameo? None to those, because for the Wicked Gods, I don't want to use them out of respect for Excalibur. Seto Kaiba cameo, we got only 2 cameos. Other than that, I'm looking forward to the next chapter and the amazing work you guys put into. Thank you so much. Cherry Hicks PU5QC asks, my son Junior wants to know, what are you going to do after completing Yu-Gi-Oh! White Dragon Legacy? I want to work on Blazing Souls and another series after completing Season 1 of White Dragon Legacy. Matthew Donovan 9736 asks, will Kasara be able to master the Egyptian god cards against Leviathan? I wasn't gonna bring any of the Egyptian god cards to White Dragon Legacy at all. Since we're in the Excalibur verse, other people are going to use the god cards, so out of respect for them, I'm not going to use the gods. Justice91D asks, am I too late? No, I'm answering questions right now. 2, I want to ask, is it possible to see a duel in Egypt near the Great Pyramid of Giza or one of the Luxor temples? I think it would be cool if possible. No, because I don't think Egypt allows anyone to film there because it is a historical monument, and if we ever were to film there, which we aren't, we would be in big trouble. So no, we are not going to be having duels in Egypt. 3, I love your videos and duels, but could we see a story or other episodes focus on an ordinary person who plays the game just because she loved it and loved anime? I know the fantasy element is important in the story, but what's wrong with having a short series of episodes about regular people like us? Maybe from the old school generations, enjoying the game with their kids and friends. Maybe for other projects. 4, as a fan who is following a series for the other side of the planet, could we maybe play a match together sometime? I'm very busy with making videos and I don't have time to duel other people. I'm sorry. And that is it for our Q&A. Thank you so much for all your questions. So I hope you all have a great day and I'll see you all later. Thank you so much.